Hello everyone, welcome to the video series of the subject Object-Oriented Programming using Java. Myself, Hemali Shah. I am working as an assistant professor in LG Institute of Engineering and Technology. In this video lecture, I am going to cover the topic TCP socket programming, and this topic is a part of unit number 7, collection classes and networking. Now let's start one TCP socket programming example. So here first of all we will perform one application. Here one client program send one string to the server program, and server program actually returns the same string and with the uppercase letter. So first of all you have to find out what is the task of the server and what data you want to send inside the network. So here we want to send the data as a string, and I wanted the reply in form of a string. Now this server, what server will do with the input string? Server will first convert that received data into uppercase, and after converting this data into uppercase, it replies that converted string to the client program. This is the task, right? So first of all, which program should send the data first? So here client send the data first. So here in TCP it actually uses the read-write mechanism. So first of all, which program writes the data on the socket? So client program writes the data on the socket, and server program first read that written data of a client. After reading the data, it processes the data, then it writes the answer as in a string. So after reading, server write for that results, and after writing the result on a string, client program reads the result from the string, right? So let's perform this particular example in our NetBeans first of all. So let me open this NetBeans. This is the NetBeans, right? Now let's create this example. File menu, new project, Java application, TCP demo, TCP server client demo, right? So here I am not going to create a main class. Now inside this server client demo, I am creating this source package, right? This inside the source package, create a new Java class. I am creating TCP server, right? TCP server demo. This TCP server basically having the public static void main. What are the steps to create the server program? First of all, create the PSVM, public static void main function. Now inside this public static void main, step number 1, you have to decide the port number on which you want to execute this particular program. So here I am deciding my server port as a 1026. You can take any port. If you are getting the exception, then you can change this particular port, right? This is my service port on which I want to provide the service to convert the received string into uppercase. So I can write the this variable name as a service port. You can write any variable name, right? This is my service port 1026. Now after deciding the service port, you just need to create the server socket object in the server program. This server socket, this automatically import your java.net. You just need to import this star, write down the star, so you don't need to import each and every time. Server socket, I am creating SS as an object name, and you can create this server socket object by using the integer parameterized constructor. Now when you are making this object by using this constructor, you will get one bubble that you should handle this exception which is thrown as a server port, which is thrown when you are making a object by using this constructor, right? So it basically throws this, see here, it basically throws this exceptions, this constructor. So you have to handle it by clicking surrounded statement with try catch, right? you can use this tool, or you can directly write with your own way. You just need to create this all the things in a try block. Keep in mind. Then you don't need to handle each and every time this all the exceptions, right? Handle it one time. So this basically generates the IO exception, and here you can print is out tab error. Which error? This EX stores this error. Now after making this object, you just need to wait for the client request. So here I am just printing here server started. If you are getting this line, that means server is started, no exception is there, and your server is started on the particular port number. That you can print like this. Service port number you can specify as a on port service port, or you can call the ss.getPort function also, then also it is correct. And you can write the IP address on which this server is going to create it. That you can print by using the inet address class, inet address dot get localhost. So this server is started on this particular port number, on this particular IP address, right? So this I am only printing by using the sout, by using the system.out.println only. Now after printing this line, you just need to call this ss.accept function. This accept function is a waiting function. The line that you are going to write after this accept function will not execute until some request arrives from the client program, right? So here I am making this line connected with I will print the socket objects. This accept function actually returns the, what is the return type? Socket is a return type, right? So this socket is a return type. That's why I'm making the object like this, socket S. Don't make the socket object at the server side, only make the server socket object at the server side. Now you can print the message like this, s dot get remote socket address. This actually prints where you have, what is the IP address of your client, right? Now before printing this ss.accept, you can write the data like this, waiting for some request. So this will print waiting for request, right? First of all, you have to make the connection between two programs, that and only then you can do this thing. Right. See here. So this line will never execute until you are not making the program that actually request for this service on this server program, right? Clear? So here I am going to run this program. First of all, I will only focus on the connection mechanism. So first of all, you have to make the connection between two programs which are running on the different computers. Here I am having only single computer, so I am making this two program on the single computer. If you have two computers at your home, both having the Java and both are connected with each other using the LAN cable, then you can communicate between that two programs. One you can execute on the one computer, other you can execute on the another computer, having interconnected network. While you can use the wireless LAN, or you can use the normal LAN cable also to connect to laptop, to connect this computer, and run this program, one program on one computer and another program on another computer, and use the IP address to provide the communication between these two laptop programs or two device programs. Here, if both the programs are on the same computer, then you can call as a local host, right? So first of all, I am running this particular server program. See, you can get the output like this. See here, binding address error. So JVM is bind. So whenever you are getting this error, JVM binds, so this port is basically busy 100, right? Save, and I am running. Now this particular server is started on port number 80. 800. You can use any one of this number which are, it might be possible on your computer this number is free, 1026, 1027. In my computer it is busy, so when it is not able to communicate with that particular port, it generates the JVM bind error. So you just need to change the port number in your program, right? Now let's create the client program. For that, open the project window, source package, right click, new Java class, create the TCP client demo, right? TCP client demo. Now inside this class, what is the required parameters? So first of all, this is the another program, so you have to write the another PSVM. You have to run two programs. That's why you must have the two public static void main in different class. Now here you must know the service port of a server, and you must know the IP address of the server. For that, you can use the IP address in form of the string, in form of the INET address object. In both the case it is allowed. Server IP I am storing inside this server IP variable. So if you are running your program on the same computer, at that time you should use here localhost case sensitive string name, localhost, don't put the space, don't use this spelling as it is, or you can use this IP address like this 127.0.0.1. This is the IP address of the computer of a localhost. If you have the two programs on the same computer, you can use this IP address. If you are running your program on the different computers, then in the client program you have to specify the IP address of the server program, right? So IP address of the server computer you can specify like this. Say for the example, my server program I am running on 192.168.100.1 number. This is the IP address of my server program. Then I can use this IP address inside this double quotes. So keep in mind, this is the way you can specify the server IP address. So client must know the server's IP address as well as server's port number, right? So what is the server's port number? Server is started on the 8008, right? So here you can specify this 8008 as a server's port number. Now after specifying it, you just need to create the object of socket s equals to new socket, and at the time of making the socket object, you just need to use this string parameter and integer parameterized constructor. It basically establishes the connection between this server program. So here you have the socket object that you have not created, that is written by the accept function, and here you are creating the socket objects. So after making the, if there is a no exception, then both the programs are going to connect, and you will get such a output on your console that connected with get remote socket address, right? You can print like this. Now here this socket is also throwing the exception, so you can handle it. Here this ex is a variable. Now let's execute this program. See, in both the program I am getting the output connected with 3657. This is the socket address of this client program, and this is connected with the server program. 8008 is a port number of the server program. So in client program you will get the remote socket address of the server program, and in the server program you will get the socket address of the client program. So here both having the socket object and both are connected with each other, right? Now after making the connection, if you want to read and write something, you just need to use the input stream and output stream objects. This input stream IES is used to write in a socket, but you just need to get the input stream from the socket only. In both the program you have the object of socket. In client you have created socket object, in server you have the socket object that is written from the accept function, right? Such that you can create the output stream object output stream object, output stream java.io class. See, without IO you cannot provide the socket programming, right? So you must know the IO concept. So here we are getting the input stream and output stream object from the socket only. Now only by using the input stream and output stream we cannot create a logic, or the logic will be very difficult. So I am just covering this input stream and output stream object into super level classes. The data input stream is a super class of this input stream having the more functions for the reading purpose. So I am just creating this data input stream class object, data input stream class object. So here I am just passing the reference that convert this input stream into data input stream so that I can get more reading function. See, this data input stream having very large set of read function. You can read the boolean value also, you can read the byte, char, double, read line, this read UTF, write UTF functions that returns the string. This read UTF and write UTF function we will use to read and write the string. So DO is basically used to read something from the socket right now, and just like that you can create the object of data. Data DIS I am making as a data input stream, and its data output stream I am making as a DOS equals to new data output stream, and here you just need to pass output stream object that you want to convert into data output stream, right? Now after making this two object, now you have to write the logic. Say for the example, what is the responsibility of server? So server first read some data. So to reading you just need to use the data input stream. What server wants to read? Server wants to read UTF, that means wants to read string. This read UTF function will return string data. Data is a variable that will read the data which will be written by the client program, right? Now you just need to print this received data, this data like this, right? Now after reading the data you just need to convert this data into uppercase, right? So how to convert this data? You can use the string buffer class, or you can write your own logic to convert this string into uppercase. So here I am using the string buffer class. I am just converting my data string into string buffer, and this string buffer having the function f, or you can directly use the uppercase function. If this is a program of reverse, then you can use the reverse function to convert your string into reverse. If some program having the logic that you should convert into uppercase also, so you just need to call the fp.to uppercase also, to uppercase sb, or string having itself is a function data.to uppercase. You can write over here. So your string first of all convert into uppercase, then you can make a reverse function also, and after making a reverse function you can create a new string variable, string uppercase data, u data I am making. So this u data you can take from sb.toString function. So now after processing and reversing the data that is received, you can write it back to the client program. So to write this data to the client program, again you need to use dos.write UTF. Write UTF you can use to write the unified text format then string. So whenever you want to write something, you just need to call the write UTF function. Here I want to write this converted data on the socket. Now after completing this whole logic, you just need to close this all the sockets that you have used inside it. So you just need to close this two sockets in a server socket program, right? Now what you should do in the client program? So here you just need to do this just like a reverse thing. You just need to make this all the things over there also. So here in the client program, after making a connection and after printing this message, you just need to convert this input stream and output stream objects, convert your input stream and output stream into the data input stream, data output stream. Here you can use the print writer class, you can use the buffer reader class, because it's just a read write processing, right? You can use any IO class for the reading and writing purpose, but keep in mind you just need to use the exactly opposite write function on the opposite program. So here in the server program, first of all you are reading something. So in the client program you have to write first. So here to write something I am using the object dos.write. What I want to write, say for the example I want to write the string. So to write the string, function name is write UTF, and I want to write the data hello, how are you, right? This is the data that I want to write, I want to send to the client program. Now after sending the data to the server, the server will generate the reply, and that reply I am taking back into reply as a variable, and that reply you can read by using the data input stream object read UTF function, because in the opposite program you have used the write UTF function. So in this program you have to read this by using read UTF function. So here after receiving data you can write like this, received, what you have received that you have stored inside the reply, right? Now after printing this reply you just need to close the streams, you just need to close this socket that you have used. You can use close this IO stream also, but it is optional to close, so don't need to close again. But don't forget to close these sockets. Otherwise, if any exception is occurred, then your port that is occupied inside your application will be occupied as it is, and your OS will not be get it free, and you will not get it again in your program. So you have to change your port number every time whenever you are running your program, right? So first of all, in this case, you have to run this server program first, then and only then you can run your client program, right? So first of all run the server program, because in the server program this wait function is a this accept function is a waiting function, so your program will wait for the client program to run. So when you execute this client program, go inside the client program and run this program. So when you run this client program, first of all it makes the connection between two programs. Now this client program sends the data that I have printed in the server program. This server program have received hello, how are you data. Now it process the data and get back the reply, reverse of the data as well as convert into uppercase. This data I am getting back on the client side, so that you can run this client as many times as you want, right? Now can you build such a chatting application that should chat one by one? First message will be written by the server, second message will be written by the client, again server will write something, then client will write something. So read write process you have to repeat in a while loop, and by using the while true and take some data as an input, as say for the example buy is a content. If you receive some buy as a content as a data, you should break this loop, and you can make such a chatting application also. So let's perform the chatting application in the same program. For that what you should do, so here you just need to make this many code over here as it is, right? This data input stream and data output stream. So first of all you have to build the logic for the chat application. Who will write first? First of all you have to decide this. Say for the example, first of all this server program read the data and client first write the message. So here you just need to read the data first. Say for the example I am reading the data string, data I am reading. So for the reading, you just need to use dis dot read UTF, right? This you need to read. Now after reading the data, you just need to check if this D dot equals. What the equals? Say for the example, the by is the content in a received string. Then you just need to break this loop. Otherwise, the program will be infinite, right? So I'm just wants to build a one logic when to break this while loop. So after reading this data, I'm just going to print S out received. Where it is received, you can print the IP address also. Say for the example, S dot get remote socket address. What you have received, that you can print inside this. What you have received in D. Right? Now after reading something, you can read the data from the console. So for that, I'm just making this S out enter data. Enter data. Enter data. I'm giving the console to the particular user. Now after reading this message, enter data, you can use the scanner class. Scanner java.util. Scanner sc equals to new scanner. To take the input, you can use the IO classes also. There is no problem. Right? Here you just need to give the system.in. So from the console, take the input from the user. To take the input, you just need to call the string enter data I am taking inside sc.next line. Next line is a function by using which you can read the data from the scanner and that you are storing inside ed. Now after reading the data from the console, I am just going to write by using dos dot write UTF. Write UTF. This ed I am writing to the client. So after getting this thing, I am just writing this data to the client program. So this is the way you can build the chat. Now what you will do inside this client program, again the sequence you just need to change. Yes or no? Let me format this code, right? So in the client program, you can make the chat application like this. After creating these two objects, you can make the logic. Many programs are possible. You just need to change this logical part only to make the program logic. So here, what you have to do, first client will send the data. For that, it first reads data from the console. So this is the code to read the data from the console, right? So after reading the data, it sends the data to the client or a server program. So for that, it uses the dos.writeUTF function, right? Now after sending the data, it waits for the reply. So to it actually read UTF function is a waiting function. Until this server will not write something, this program will not execute this code, right? So after receiving it, it prints that I have received this data and print it. Now if it receives the by, then we are just breaking the loop, right? So that you can make the exactly opposite logic, opposite statements of network program in the client program, right? So this is the code that you can have to write inside this client program. Now first of all, what I should run? So in the TCP program, first of all, you have to run this server program only. See, this server is waiting for the client request. Now this is the client program. You can run this program. Now in the client program, first of all, I have to enter the data hello all. This is the data I am going to enter that you will receive over here. See here, I have received this from this particular IP address. From this port number, I have received the hello all. Now in the server side, there will be a console which waits for your input. Now in the server program, you have to enter something. Hello all, hi, how are you? I am entering, right? So this is the data I am entering from the server program. Now after pressing the enter, if you go inside the client program, it will receive the data that is written in the server program. So such that you can execute this program. Now when you enter this by is a keyword that I have taken as a ending string. Now I'm just writing the data by. See here, in one program you will get the exception, and one program you will get the by as a content, because you are closing the string. That's why, right? So such that you can make the communication and you can make the chatting application too. So this is the single client server based application. So hope you people are clear with it. Now can you make the multiple client based chatting application by using this network program? So here, if you want to make such a chatting application that should chat with the multiple user at the same time, and any user can write anytime, any user can read any data anytime, at that time you should go for the multi-threading with networking. Think on it, and you can make this application that can chat with the multiple user at the same time, and multiple user can read and write anytime. This you can make by using the multi-threading. So use the concept of multi-threading in this program and build the application that can provide the chatting between the multiple users, right? So here this is all about the socket programming concept. So I'm going to move in the presentation. We have done this particular things. Now here I am going to end this session. Hope you people are clear with the concept of TCP socket programming concept, right? So in the next video lecture, I will continue with the UDP network socket programming concept. Thank you for watching it. Thank you all of you.